Stay awake. You know neither the hour nor the day. In the month of November, we always remember the dead. We start out with All Saints' Day and then All Souls' Day, and then we have a memorial called the Novena of All Souls, which we do for 11 days. And tradition is we've always sort of remembered those who have died in the month of November. And the readings of all of November, when we get to November, it's the end of the liturgical year. So all the readings start to remind us of the end times. And today's readings do the same thing. It seems particularly apt when Maria Allo, who would normally be a lector here at this Mass, passed away on Thursday very suddenly, without any sort of warning, if you would. And then, a good parishioner, a long-time parishioner, Ed Daly is dying of pancreatic cancer and is now at home actively dying. And several other parishioners have just died this week, and several more are in the hospital. And it seems like, wow, it all just comes in. It seems that these readings today, certainly that last line, you never know the hour or the day. And it's true, we don't. And then when it does come, it seems to come and snatch us all too soon. So what are we to do with all this? Like, how are we meant to live our lives in light of this in a meaningful way and not be petrified or in some way be overly anxious about our life, if you would? I think the readings give us some hints as to how to do this. The book of wisdom is remain faithful to the Lord. Desire wisdom. Desire wisdom from God, which comes from God. It's a desire first, and then we seek wisdom. And I think we get that by being open to God's wisdom in our prayer life. Wisdom cannot be taught. It can only be learned. So if you don't have desire for wisdom, there's no amount of me passing on anecdotes or stories will ever get it through to you. If you're not interested in hearing and internalizing, then so the first thing we do is we need to seek it. We need to want it. And that's the whole thing, is that we need to want it. We need to seek God and a relationship with God. Not, primarily, we start that place is being people, men and women and boys and girls of prayer, being willing to sit and to listen and to be prepared for the Lord directing our lives. Because ultimately, in the end, that's how we're called to do, is to live according to what God has. He's making a run for it. Sorry, it's a welcome distraction. On a heavy subject is even more welcome. So what are we to do? How do we turn this? Well, yes, prayer is one part, but we have to be careful. And this is where the gospel comes in. It's not just about being a person who quote unquote believes in Jesus, because that's not enough. You see, it's not enough to just believe in Jesus. You got to follow Jesus. See, there's lots of believers in Jesus in this world. There's lots and lots of those. There's just not a lot of followers. They don't follow what he did. They're not a real disciple of Jesus. Now, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he's giving them this parable. Now, he gives them three parables. There's this one. He gives them three parables. At the end, he knows he's going to die, right? So he knows he's going to go up to Jerusalem. He gives them three parables about the end times. This one. Next one is about the three stewards. You'll hear about that, and they give them a different amount of money. And then the last one is about the separation of the sheep from the goats. And these are the three we hear. Well, this one today is about these wise and foolish virgins. It seems a little cryptic in the sense, it seems like the wise virgins are selfish. They don't share the oil. And why not? How hard would it have been to share a little oil so they all could go in, and then if it went out while they're inside, well, so be it, right? But they didn't. And of course, the part of it is that they're all believers in Jesus. See, they're all there. They were all trying to do the right thing for the bridegroom, right? But only 5 went to follow, had put enough into it to follow the way. That's the distinction between followers and believers. And so what does that mean for us? It means that for us, we have to practice our faith. We have to work it out. We have to go from here, where we believe in Jesus, and we have to go out there and follow Jesus in everything we say and do. And so what does that mean for all of us? Well, for everyone, it's going to be slightly different. What is the Lord asking of us is going to be slightly different depending on our stature in life. Or if you've got young children, then the Lord is going to be asking you to go all in with your children, to be present with your children, to parent your children, to be there for them, to help them to grow and give them all that you can give them. You're pouring your life out to your children, and so you should. That is the cornerstone of your vocation right now. For those of you who have children who've moved out of the house and you have extra time, it's time you poured your life out to somebody else. Not just yourself. It's like, oh, great, now the kids are gone. It's just about me, and let's take vacation after vacation after vacation. Yeah, that's great. You take a vacation, but now it's time to pour out your life in serving others who you didn't have the time when your kids were younger to do. And then if you're still older again and the kids are all super busy and you even have more time, but you don't have as much energy, and you don't have as much strength to do things, well, you're called to do whatever you can do. You're called to pray for others, to maybe make phone calls, to reach out in whatever limited way that you can do. But none of us get the option to sit back and say, I just believe. I'm saved because just of my belief. And that's true, you are saved. But to become a disciple, to get the full rewards of eternal life, is we have to be active in our faith. We have to be engaged in our faith. We have to live our faith. And that has to come with a certain amount of joy. We can't just do it begrudgingly. We have to be joyful when we do it. I think that both Maria and Ed lived their lives as faithful people, pouring their lives away, giving their lives away. So in a sense, they were ready. They were the wise virgins. Not that any of us ever want to be, quote unquote, ready to go, but if we live our lives actively following the Lord and believing, then the Lord will be more than ready for us. And so we are believers, yes, but we're called to be believers and followers, to be the wise virgins who are ready for whatever the day or the hour the Lord calls us.